Well, joining me now is Sir Mark Lyall Grant, who's the former British ambassador to the United Nations and a former national security advisor. Good evening to you, Sir Mark.
Good evening, Carol.
I mean, what do you think is the significance of this attack?
Well, I think it is very significant. I mean, at one level, it is a simple retaliation by the Israelis because of the attack 24 hours earlier, the terrorist attack on the bus in Jerusalem. But at a deeper level, it strikes at directly at the leadership of Hamas involved in the negotiations. So it brings to an end any hope that there will be a rapid negotiations leading to a ceasefire and release of the hostages. And I think that plays into Prime Minister Netanyahu's ambition.
We've seen Israel carry out attacks on Hamas leaders in other countries in the past, on attacks, for example, inside Lebanon, in Iran, in Yemen, and so on. But the fact that this attack was while those Hamas leaders were there to talk about President Trump's peace plan. I mean, that would seem to be a flagrant attempt to literally destroy any possibility that that peace plan could get any further.
Yes, I think that is the only explanation for this. It's true that they've done attacks in other countries. It's true also they've tried to assassinate individual Hamas leaders in Qatar before. But this is an airstrike, quite a lengthy, large-scale airstrike on the capital of Qatar, which is a non-NATO ally of the United States. So that's the highest status of ally for the Americans who are not a member of NATO. So this is really quite a gamble taken by Netanyahu, and I think it shows that he's now going for broke and doesn't want to do some sort of deal which he feels would interrupt the military operation that's going on in Gaza.
Is it simply because Prime Minister Netanyahu knows that once the war ends, he'll face corruption charges and he could lose power?
Well, I think that's been an element in the back of his mind right since the start of this, nearly 2 years ago. But the reality is he still hasn't achieved even the military aims that he set out in October 2023. Hamas hasn't been completely destroyed. The hostages have not all been released. And I think he now feels that there is a sort of a once in a generation opportunity to deal a bitter blow to all his enemies in the region. The trouble is that Qatar is not really an enemy of Israel. It's true that they didn't sign the Abraham Accords as UAE and Bahrain and a number of others have done, but nonetheless, they were playing an important role in brokering talks together with Egypt and the United States. They are a close ally of the United States, which has a huge airbase. They have the biggest military airbase in the region, based in Qatar. And so for Netanyahu to take this step and basically give the Americans advance warning of a very, very little time, because as you rightly just said, the Prime Minister of Qatar has confirmed that the Americans only told the Qataris about this after the attack had already started. So clearly, President Trump was not given much warning by the Israelis of the attack.
And the president has made it clear that he's not happy about this. He says that to attack on the soil of Qatar, a close ally of the United States that's working hard and bravely, taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. I mean, it's very rare for the US president to openly criticize the Israeli prime minister. Is that going to have any effect?
Well, that's a statement. I think we need to wait to see what President Trump says directly to the press when he speaks later today. But it's striking that the Qataris are saying that when President Trump spoke to the Emir of Qatar, he outright condemned the attack. Now, the press spokesman didn't go as far as that in the statement that was issued, but nonetheless, it's clear that although America stands foursquare behind Israel in its assault on Hamas, it doesn't agree with Israel attacking one of its closest allies in the region. Because the attacks, as you mentioned, on Lebanon, on Yemen, on Iran, that's a whole different category. Those are not allies of the United States. Qatar is such an ally.
Is there any prospect of the United States, President Trump, actually taking any further steps against Prime Minister Netanyahu? He's now put out on his Truth Social platform a statement that pretty much mirrors what we heard from his press secretary. And while he says that he feels very badly about the location of the attack, and he wants all the hostages and bodies of the dead released and the war to end, he says he believes this unfortunate incident could serve as an opportunity for peace. He's been critical with one hand, saying that the attack doesn't advance Israel or America's goals, but on the other hand, he's still saying that he thinks this could be an opportunity for peace.
Yes, I mean, I find that statement hopelessly optimistic. I mean, I don't see this as an opportunity for peace. I can't see the Hamas leadership, however many survived this attack, certainly killed family members of theirs, then saying, okay, fair enough, we'll now sit down and negotiate. So I don't think it advances peace. I think it pushes back the prospect of early negotiations, and it gives some room for Netanyahu to continue the assault on Gaza City in the north of the Gaza Strip. And I think that's where the focus is going to be in the next few days.
The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has said that he condemns the attack and has called for de-escalation. He's meeting Israel's President Herzog tomorrow. I mean, is there anything he can say that's going to make any difference to any of this?
Well, not really, because I mean, President Herzog is not from the same political party as Netanyahu. He's from the Labour Party. Netanyahu's from the Likud Party, which is in alliance with the far right in Israel. So Herzog doesn't have a lot of influence over Netanyahu. Nonetheless, although he's been critical of Netanyahu on domestic policies, he has broadly supported the war on Gaza. So I think it's absolutely fair for Keir Starmer to spell out in very clear terms, which I'm sure he will do, to Herzog tomorrow, that Israel needs to abide by international law. It needs to increase the amount of humanitarian aid allowed into Gaza, and it needs to seriously consider proposals for a ceasefire. That continuing the military operation is not in Israel's long-term security interest. And that's kind of what President Trump said about this attack on Qatar.
We know that David Lammy, before he was moved as Foreign Secretary, said that he doesn't think that Israel is carrying out genocide in Gaza. Do you think that nonetheless the British government should be taking further action to indicate just the fury that there is in this country at the way Israel is conducting this war?
Well, I think that will come across. You've seen a lot of Labour MPs and others MPs have been writing saying that Herzog shouldn't be allowed into Britain at all. I don't think that's right. I mean, he's not subject to an arrest warrant as Netanyahu is. And I think it's important to continue to talk to the Israeli leadership. And I think President Herzog will get a flavour of the sort of hostility that is now built up towards Israel when he visits the UK this week. So I think it's right to talk to the president. Whether that will make any difference, I think is rather doubtful. But it's important that the British government, puts on record its view that Israel is maybe not committing genocide, but it's certainly in breach of international law and has been on numerous occasions over the last 2 years.
Sir Mark Lyall Grant, former National Security Advisor, great to speak to you. Thank you so much.